Alright, so we're going to be looking at the questions for chapter 7.3. The first question, use figure 7.34 to answer the following questions. So we're using this spreadsheet here, and we need to identify the name box in the image here in the figure. Amina, can you tell us where is the name box?
Sir, the name box is in the top left-hand corner of the page.
Okay. Does everyone agree or do they disagree? Anybody disagree?
No, sir.
So that is correct. The name box is in the top left corner. So the name box has that arrow inside of it, and it has the name of the cell, the name of the range inside of it. Question number 2. Write the formula that will be entered in cell F4. Brittany?
Sir, equal D4 asterisk E4 or equal sign E4 asterisk D4.
Alright, let me find the cell. Cell F4, that will be this cell here, equal, go it over one more time for me, please.
Sir, equal D4 asterisk E4.
Yes, that would be correct. So 200 times 30 should give you 6,000 here. So D4 times E4, correct? Question number 3. If equal F3 times 10% calculates the amount donated to charity from the classical class, write the formula for the amount donated from the hip hop class. Dante? Dante Wills. F4 times 10%. Okay, let's look at it. So F3, that's classical. So that's going to be this 3,000 here. So that's going to calculate the how much was donated. And since we want for the hip hop class, all we need to do is go to that row and we look for the cell that has the value 6,000. So that's going to be F4 there times 10%. Good. Question number 4. 10% is now entered in cell H1. So we don't have it on the screen, but it should be around here, 10%. Which is named charity, so it has a name. Write the formula for the amount donated from the Latin class. Darren?
Sir, F6 times charity. Asterisk charity.
Good, that's correct. So why not F6 times H1? Anyone could answer.
Sir, cell H1 was renamed to charity.
It was, but that's not the reason why we don't use H1 anymore. Anyone? Why did we use charity? Think about it. What is inside of H1? What is inside of H1?
Sir, the 10%.
Good, the 10% is inside of H1. So if you were to copy that formula to somewhere else, if you had used H1, what would happen? What happens when you copy a cell name? When you copy a formula that uses cells? We only learned this in the last class, that was Tuesday.
Sir, relative addressing.
Yes, relative addressing. So, what happens with relative addressing for those that can't remember?
Sir, the cell reference changes.
The cell reference changes, that is it. So, with relative addressing, cell name would change. Emmanuel, you're unmuted.
Oh, sorry.
With relative addressing, the cell name would change. So if we had used H1, that name would have changed if we had copied the formula. So that is why in this case here, we use charity. So let me give you guys the actual example of it. This is why you should have at least practiced it. Say if you had that 6,000 here, and we had that 10% at the top here, and we want to calculate it, equal that multiplied by H1, enter. What happens when we copy it? The H1 is going to change, and we're not going to get a calculation. So yes, we can use the H1, but basically only one time. Whenever we copy the formula now, it's not going to work. That is why they named it charity, so that when you put in that name of charity, this is called what addressing? What addressing is this called?
Sir, absolute addressing.
Absolute addressing. Good. So using the name charity, renaming that cell to another name, that's called absolute addressing, so that whenever you copy the formula now, it will continue to use that cell. So if I put a value here and I bring it down, it will still work. I will still get that 10% being multiplied by my value here. If not, even if it was that H1, it would not have worked when I bring it down here. So that's why we use the name charity instead of H1, so that we can get absolute addressing. Alright, so question number 5. Explain the steps to add a column to the left of the limit column. So limit is here. What are the steps to add a column there? Destiny?
To add a column to the left of the limit column, you should highlight the column that has consonant column B. After highlighting it, press Enter.
Highlight column D and then press enter.
Insert, yes.
Okay, so you click on column D and press insert.
Yes, sir.
Alright. Emmanuel, what do you have? Henry. Yeah, go ahead.
Right click on
the column, then press insert. Doug,
Good, but which column are you right clicking on?
no, column D.
Column D. Leech, what do you have? Emmanuel Leech.
No, sir. I basically have the same answer.
So, anyone have anything different?
Sir, I have you right click on cell E2 and select enter or click enter column.
Okay. Anyone else?
Sir, you
I also have column E, sir.
sir, you right click on column and press insert.
Right. That is the correct answer. You're supposed to right click on column E, or basically any cell in column E, and insert that column. I showed you guys this. Whenever you're inserting a column, whenever you're inserting a row, wherever you're going to insert it, you basically go to the column or the cell that is going to be shifted. Think of it that way. Go to the column or the cell that will be shifted. So if you insert before E, if you right click on E and select insert, column E is going to be shifted. If you right click on D and you click insert, column D is going to be inserted. So the question was asking how to insert before limit. And before limit would have been column E. So to get before, you have to basically select on the column E, and then it will insert before. So if limit was here, when you right click here and you insert, everything is going to get shifted to the right. If it was column D, whatever was here, and you right clicked here, yes, it's before, but it's not exactly before. The question wanted exactly before. Explain the steps to add a column to the left of the limit column. That's where it wanted it. So remember that whenever you inserted, just think of what will be shifted. Whatever column you select on, whatever cell you select on, that is what will be shifted. So if you right click on B and highlight B to insert, B is what will get shifted. If you right click on 4 or you highlight 4 to insert, 4 is what will get shifted. So please remember that. Alright, so we're at question number 6. Write complete functions to calculate the following. So what is the function to calculate the lowest cost? Grace?
It will be equal min open bracket D3 to D6 close bracket.
Very good. Everyone has that? Doesn't seem so.
Yes, sir.
D3 to D6. Good. What would be for the average limit? Jada?
Sir, equals average open brackets E3 to E6 close brackets.
Good. So it's asking for the average limit. This is the range for the limit. That's column E, E3 to E6. So we know the name of the function is average. So equal average and the range here. Good. What is the function for the number of classes offered? Jasmine? Jasmine? Seems you don't have Jasmine today. Joshua? Joshua? If you didn't do the homework, just say you didn't do the homework and let's move on. Jakia? Jakia? Are you guys hearing me? Jonathan?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Jonathan?
Yes, sir.
Question C. Number of classes offered.
Sir, is it
Yes, go ahead, Jakia.
sir?
I didn't hear that.
Sir, can you hear me?
Yes, hear you now. Not hearing you now.
You're muted, yeah.
Seems Jakia is having problems. Jonathan, go ahead.
Sir, it's badly. Did you find it? Is it just me that is breaking up? Or
It's not
everybody
that
here is breaking badly?
it's not that you're breaking up. That's that you're on and off. Your microphone is on and off, and then we're not hearing you. Jonathan, we're waiting on you. Karishma,
Sir, equals count A, open bracket, A3 to A6.
okay. So why did you use that one?
Sir, because it counts the amount of cells with data in them and not the data that is in them. That's confusing.
Inception. Yes, but that is correct though. Equal count A. So you use which range did you use? This range? Karishma.
Yes, sir.
Alright. So equal count A and you use this range here also. But basically you could have used any one of the ranges. Any one would have worked. So because it's the same amount going across. So you could have counted cost, you could have counted number of calls, basically because remember count basically counts how much data is in the if data is in the cell. So any one of the count would have worked, but the count A would have been the more accurate one. Not the more accurate, but the more realistic one you can say, because it's asking for the classes, and it would be best to count those classes. Good. Question number 7. Write an if statement in cell I3, which is not on the screen, to output the word cancel if the number of calls is less than 30, otherwise output a blank. So what is our if function? Kezia? Kezia? Seems a lot of you didn't do the homework. Monique? Monique didn't do the homework.
Sir, I didn't complete it.
Interesting. Morano?
Sir, I didn't do it.
Okay. Rafael, did you look at the homework?
No, sir, I was just repeating.
Ray Mario?
So I look at it, but I didn't get to do all the questions.
Okay. Go ahead, Ray Mario.
So equal if open bracket G3 is less than 30, comma, open double apostrophe cancel close double apostrophe, comma, open double apostrophe close double apostrophe close brackets.
The rest of you understand that?
So I'll type it in the chat.
I understood it, but it's if the rest of the class understood it.
Yes, sir, I understood.
So, well, let's break it down. So, good. You wrote it in the chat there for you guys, so that's the correct answer. So we're writing an if statement. So obviously we have to start with equal if, and we open our brackets. So that's the first part there. And remember, the if statement has how many arguments?
Sir, 3 arguments.
3 arguments. It has a test, it has a true value, and it has the false value. So the if statement has 3 arguments. So we got to look for those 3 arguments now to put into our function. So write an if statement in cell I3 to output the word cancel. So it's telling us to output the word cancel if the number of calls is less than 30. So that's our true value there. So output the word cancel. But we got to find our test. It's asking if the number of calls is less than 30. Notice the key word here, less than. I told you guys about those questions or those tests. So number of calls, that's going to be G. So that's going to be G3 if it is less than 30, comma, so that's our test. Now we need our true value, which we already have as cancel. Comma, and then output blank. Now we can't just leave it just like that to output blank. We must put our double quotation once again, and we put nothing inside to get blank. Because if we don't put this double quotation, anybody remembers what we get? You get a 0. If you do not put the double quotation, you get a 0. So if you want nothing to appear, basically, you put the double quotation because nothing is inside of it, so nothing will appear. Are you guys following that question?
Yes, sir.
Alright, so question number 8. in cells, if the function in cell I3 is copied to I4 to I6, then state the cells that would display the word cancel. Rakeisha?
Cells I3 and I6.
Cells I3 and I6. Alright, so let's look at it. So, what is asking? If it is less than 30, this is our test. If the call is less than 30, we're going to see the word cancel. And that's what the question's asking. State what cells would give you cancel. So, 25, is it less than 30? Yes. So you're going to see the word cancel. 81? No. 61? No. 22? Yes. So you're going to see the word cancel because they are less than 30. So that's I3 and I6. So that's correct there. Question number 9. Write an if statement in cell J3 to output the name of the class if the number of calls is less than the limit for the class. Otherwise, output the number of calls. Robert?
Sir, that would be equal if open brackets G3 less than E3 open quotation marks name of class and close quotation marks and open quotation marks number of calls close brackets.
Okay, that is half correct. Shane, what do you have? Robert said equal if G4 less than E4, and then he had quotation marks with the classes and then quotation marks with something else. So that's half incorrect. Half correct. Shane? Shalon?
Yes, sir.
Answer to question 9.
Sir, I skipped question 9.
Okay, Suresh?
Sorry, equal if open bracket J3 less than 20, comma, open apostrophe, classical, close apostrophe, comma, open apostrophe, 25 and close apostrophe. And close bracket.
Okay. Alright, so let's look at the test part first. Anybody got anything else different? Anyone has anything without apostrophe?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Ratisha, go ahead.
Equal if open bracket G4 less than E4, comma, A4, comma, G4, close bracket.
Okay, and somebody else had something?
Yes.
Yes, Romari, go ahead.
Equal if open bracket G3 less than E3, comma, A3, comma, G3, close bracket.
Okay, good. So notice those persons, they have cell names. They have A4 and that would be G4 instead of using the quotation marks. So let's look at the difference between those two. So we're creating a function. Write an if statement in cell J3 to output the name of the class. So it's telling us what is our true value here. The name of the class. Now it's giving us our test. If the number of calls is less than the limit for the class. Number of calls is less than the limit. So let's erase this one at the top here. Good. So equal if, open bracket, if the number of calls, which is cell G4, if it is less than the limit of the class. The limit is E, so that's going to be E. Actually, we have to start from 3, so that's supposed to be E3. So that there is our test. We're testing if the number of calls, column G, if it is less than the limit. So that's column E. So that there is our test. Now, the other part is our true value and our false value. Now, what it is asking for us to output is the name of the class. Now, yes, you're kind of correct in thinking that if you put quotation marks and you put the name of the class, then yes, it's going to output the name of the class. It will work. But when you're creating functions and formulas, you have to think of, can you copy the formula? Can you copy the function? Because if you put quotation mark and you put inside classical, then if you copy it, even though these here are going to change because of relative addressing, because of the quotation mark, classical is going to remain the same. So when you copy the formula, even though it's going to run the test differently, it's still going to output the word classical. It's not going to output the other classes because they are not inside of the quotation mark. Only what is inside the quotation mark will be output. So that is why we needed the actual cell name, so that what is inside of the cell, so instead of apostrophe C, you put the name of the cell that has the class. So that's going to be A3, because column A has the names of the class. So cell A3, and then if it is false, you output the number of calls if it is false. So once again, the same thing. You don't put the quotation marks because if we want to copy it, only that will appear. So we need to put the name of the cell. So that's going to be cell G3. And that there is the answer to your question there, question number 9. You guys understand that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So those that put the quotation marks, hope you understand why we use the cell name and not the quotation mark. You use quotation marks basically if you want something specific to appear. Think of it that way. If you want something specific to appear, you use the quotation mark. So if you want this exact word to appear, the word classical, the word hip hop, if you want exactly that to appear, then you put it in quotation marks. But when you're going to copy the formula, or when you're going to copy the function, that exact word is going to appear all the time. So that would be an example. If you guys can remember my pass and fail, you wanted the word pass to appear, you wanted the word fail to appear. So that's why we would have had something like equal if is 30 less than 40, and you're gonna put pass in quotation mark, And you're gonna put fill in quotation mark because we want those words to appear all the time. We want only those two words. But if it's gonna change based on some sort of test, some sort of value, then we're gonna need to. Miranda, your camera is on. Miranda cleaning out his house. Miranda cleaning while in class. So. Yes. So while if you want something, if you wanted to change, that is when you use the cell names. It's the same for any function, any formula. That's why we use cell names when we want it to change based on the location. Alright, so question number 10. If the function in cell J3 is copied to J4 and J6, then what would be the output? So look at the we have the function at the top here. This is the function. If you were to copy it, so all the other cells, all the other rows, what would be the output? Anyone? Alright, so let's look at the first one. Classical. If classical was to be used on this, if the function was to be used on row 3, what would be the output?
25.
What was that?
25.
25. The rest of you agree? Disagree?
Wait, sir, it's number 10, right?
Yes, number 10. Basically, just look at this function at the top here. But yes, we're looking at number 10. Anyone else? The function is literally right here. If G3 is less than E3, what will appear for classical?
25.
25. So G3, is it less than E3? No, it is not less than E3. It is greater, so the false part will appear. So 25 will appear. Good. Hip hop. What is going to appear for hip hop?
So 801.
801. So let's run that. Is G3 less than E3? No, it is not less. So that is false. And we're going to get G3. So 801 is the correct answer. Good. Jazz.
Six to 1.
6 to 1. Is G3 less than E3? Is 6 to 1 less than 15? No, that is false. So we go with the false answer once again. That's going to be 6 to 1. And lastly, Latin.
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 Latin, okay. So is G3 22 less than 35? Yes, that is correct. It is less. So we go with our true value, A3, and Latin is in A3. So that is what will appear. Functions are simple, but just that you have to understand the structure of it. You have to understand what are the parts. So that's why I told you guys, remember what are the parts of the function. And you basically break it up. You run the tests, you see if the test is true, then you get that true part. If the test is false, you get the false part. It's that simple. Alright, question number 11. State the location of the data in cell D5 after the following. Okay, so now we're manipulating rows and columns. So if you inserted a column at B, let me clear up the screen a little. I feel like Marana fell down while he was mopping. So if you insert a column at B, so this here is column B. If you insert a column B, what will happen? Okay, no, the question is state the location of cell D5. So cell D5 is this 250. That is to state the location of the data in cell D5 after each of the following. So if you inserted a column at column B, what would be the location of D5? Anyone?
E5.
Tisha says E5. Dante says E5. Anyone else? E5. That is correct. Good, very good. E5 is correct. Why? Because when you insert a column, everything gets shifted to the right. So because you're inserting on the left hand side and D5 is on the right hand side, it's going to get shifted over to the right. Good. The next part, B, if you inserted a row at row 5, you inserted a row here, what will be the new position? Or what will it move, will it not move? Anyone?
D6.
Sir, D6.
D6. Good, good. We're getting a lot of D6. Good, that's correct. Because when you insert on the row, I showed you guys this earlier, when you insert on the row, whatever is in that row gets shifted down. So it's going to move to D6 now. Good. Now the next part, if we deleted a column at G, we deleted this column here, what would be the location of D5?
It will remain in D5.
Good. It's going to remain in D5 because when you delete a column, information gets shifted to the left. But this column here, it's not before, it's not on the left hand side of cell D5, it's on the right hand side. So it's only going to affect on this side here. Won't affect anything on this side here. Alright, and the last one, if you delete a row at 6, what will be the new location?
D5.
D5, that is correct. Because it's only going to affect below, nothing above. So that's something that can help you to remember that when you are deleting or inserting a column, unless it's on the left hand side or it is the column, only then it will be affected. Anything on the right hand side of it will not affect its location. So anything from E going forward will not affect its location. Same for the row, unless it is the row and anything before, only then it will affect its location. Anything from the row after and below, it will not affect it. Alright, so that's basically all of our questions for our homework. Does anyone have any questions on the homework? Any comments? Any clarification? Yes, Romario?
No, sir.
Okay. Any of the questions that were confusing you, or it was clarified while I was explaining it earlier? Alright, so let's see. What do we have here? Alright, so I'm gonna give you guys time to prepare yourself for the presentation. Excuse me. So we're gonna hold the presentation next week. I'm gonna give you guys time to prepare yourself. So that means group one is gonna present exercise one as group one. Um, yeah, group one is gonna do exercise one. Exercise two, I'm gonna split it in half. So we're gonna start with group two, and it's about 25. So half of 25 should be around 12, 13. So around 15, because 25 is a little more lengthy. This side here is a little more lengthy. So the name box, people average. So from 18 is where group 3 will start. So I'm giving you your the parts that you have to do. So from 18 all the way to 25 going to be group 3. Group 4 is going to start exercise 3. They're going to do the entire of exercise 3. Using expenses, sheet contain review, enter the appropriate functions. Group 5, that'd be group 5. Yeah, group 5 is going to do exercise 4. Group 6 is going to do exercise 5. And then group 7 is going to do the remaining exercises, 6 and 7. So 7 groups will have presented next week, Tuesday.
Sir, before you go, show me how to do something. Sir, for the margin center, I got through with my assignment, but I think I was doing it wrong because a notification keep popping up, like a help, but I got you, sir. So, sir, can you show me how to margin center again, please?
Alright, so I think I know why the error came up. So you basically highlight your cells that you want to merge. It's like basically you're telling it what you want to merge. So you need to highlight the cells that you want to merge. Any amount of cells that you select. So for instance, if I select these cells here, it's going to merge those cells together. If I select it in this pattern here, and I select margin center, it's going to merge those cells together. So whatever pattern I select, if I selected all of that, and I select margin center, it's going to merge. But notice, was this the error?
Yes, sir.
So what is happening here is that it is detecting data inside of the cells that you highlighted. Because remember, you're going to merge all into one. So, and all of these information that you're seeing on the screen, they are in individual cells. So it doesn't know how to combine them together. So what it's going to do is going to delete them. And only what is in the top left, or basically, margin only keeps the upper left value and discards the other value. It says here clearly. So only what's in the upper left, I think that's going to be, not sure if it's ASD or pass. One of these two is going to be used. If you click OK, 10%. 10%. That's upper left. I guess it's looking at the most upper. But notice when we highlight that, it only kept the 10%. It only kept that upper, the topmost left cell. So you basically highlight what you want, select margin center, but when you're highlighting cells with data, you will get that error message. So that's why you have to ensure what you're highlighting doesn't have any important data inside of it. Otherwise, it's going to remove it, delete it, and only keep one piece of data.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Anyone with any other similar questions? Merge is different from merge and center. There's a merge. Yeah, because as the name indicates, this is merging and putting it inside of the center. So actually never use those other options. So if we merge this here, merge cells, notice this one kept to the left. Because remember when you merge in center, it's mostly like for headings. So that's why they have it as the default. So you would merge and put the information in the center as a heading. Um, Merge across. Unmerge. I've actually never went into this drop down area. But yeah, they all function the same. They combine the cells together, but all depends on the option. You're gonna put it in that location. Any other questions? We have 2 more minutes.
Sir, why I said that is because for the assignment, it has something that says merge and not merge and center. So
Okay.
is that I was given a hint basically. Yeah.
All right. So remember, for those who are here, what groups have to present and what parts they have to present there also. I think I'm gonna send it in the WhatsApp group because I'm sure you guys are gonna forget. All right. So I hope you guys took note of the correct answers for your homework. I'm hoping you guys are practicing your exercises. It's very important for you to do so in preparation for your CSEC exam. Please remember we're starting from now to prepare you for a CSEC exam. And if you don't practice those exercises, you're going to have a hard time during the exam. So if you guys don't have any questions on anything we looked at for today, we're going to end here for today. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Enjoy the rest of your day, sir.